If you'd like to know exactly when to have intercourse to get pregnant, this video is for you because I'm going to talk about LH and how tracking your LH levels can help you time intercourse correctly to maximize the chance of conception. LH is a critical hormone in the female reproductive system, responsible for triggering ovulation and serving as a marker for fertility. Today, you're going to learn about this and how to track LH, why it's very important for you to look into your LH levels, how it's affecting your fertility, and what to do to improve it. We've got to cover a lot of things today, and I'm going to show you exactly what I do with the members of my fertility program so that you can start to do these things as well at home. Now let's get started so that you can learn everything you need to learn about LH. Okay, so LH, luteinizing hormone, has one primary purpose. It rises to help you ovulate. That's right. Why is that so important? Well, it helps you all know when to time intercourse. We all can have intercourse at any time during the cycle, but you cannot get pregnant at any time of the cycle. You could only get pregnant when you ovulate. So the LH rises as you are at ovulation to help release the egg. That is its primary focus and responsibility. LH is also produced in the pituitary gland. We talked about that in other videos. And it does help to regulate the menstrual cycle because without having a proper healthy ovulation, you don't have a proper healthy menstrual cycle. And that's really important. So this is actually one of the hormones that's directly impacted with women who have polycystic ovarian syndrome or PCOS. This hormone is going to be higher often than we'd like, and that can absolutely impact your ability to have a regular cycle and ovulate regularly and release the egg. Every time I talk about hormones, I often talk about the proper range for them to be in. LH doesn't necessarily have a proper range per se in the beginning of the cycle. When we're checking hormones in the beginning of the cycle, it needs to be in relationship to your FSH, your follicle stimulating hormone, and we typically want to see those be 1-to-1 ratio. We don't always see it be exactly, so if FSH is 7, we don't always see LH be 7, but we want it as close as possible. The other reference range we need to be mindful of is LH peaking. I often hear, especially for all of you using different ovulation predictor kits or trackers, that, oh, it got dark but didn't get dark enough, or it rose but it didn't get high enough and it didn't trigger ovulation. I want you all to know that yes, the kits are designed to trigger ovulation when LH gets to a certain level, and that level is typically around 30. You all might ovulate when your LH is at a lower level. You as an individual, unique person, you might just need that level to be at 20 for your ovaries to release the egg, okay, and for that follicle to rupture. So if your cycles are regular and consistent and you think that you're ovulating in the middle of your cycle and you're kind of getting a high but not a peak when you check, you're probably still ovulating. And I think that's really important to recognize in the bigger picture, especially right now before we start talking about the things that can impact your cycles or your LH levels both positively and negatively. So be mindful of that little piece when you're tracking your cycles using all the different kits that you use or predictor kits that you use, that, you still might be ovulating even if you're not peaking or it's showing as a peak in those kits, because they're only designed to get to a certain place, and that doesn't necessarily fit every woman, especially those of you who start to have some sort of hormonal imbalances or shifts. That might not be sufficient enough for you to be able to detect that you're ovulating. One of the biggest factors that impacts your ability to regulate LH properly is stress. The best example that I have for you is going to be with women with PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. We can start to regulate and get cycles to be consistent, ovulation regular, which means LH is functioning properly and rising as it needs to. And then invariably, you're going to have an increased amount of stress, whether it's personal life, work, whatever it might be. And I invariably hear from all of you that, oh, my cycles were regular, and then all of a sudden they became irregular. What happened? My number one question for all of you is, what stressful happened in your life right now? What changed and how much stress are you going through? And that's typically 70% of the time, that's an accurate question because you have more stress, and that is going to throw off your LH function and other hormones as well, and that's going to disrupt your cycles. So stress is the number one thing that I see that can impact your LH, and I want to make you aware of that so you can actually start to take the proper steps to have tools in your belt to manage that better for yourself. We're not going to get rid of stress in our life, so we need to have the resources within ourselves to be able to manage that better. What techniques do you have that are going to allow you to manage your stress better? I want to hear from you. Comment below and let me know, how do you manage your stress? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Do you do Tai Chi? Do you go for a hike? What is it that you do that helps you manage your stress? Because you need those tools, because we're all going to have stress, and we need to have those resources to be able to manage it so it doesn't get out of hand and so that your cycles don't get out of control. Are you looking to optimize your fertility and support your journey to a healthy baby? I want to introduce to you the Rejuva products, Rejuva Eggs, Rejuva Sperm, and Rejuva Repair, the perfect blend of ancient wisdom and modern science to allow you to achieve your goal of having a family. These formulations have been meticulously formulated by 3 fertility experts, including myself. They've been clinically proven to optimize egg quality, ovarian reserve, and improve overall sperm quality and quantity. You can order now using the link in the description below to take the first steps towards a brighter future. The future of fertility changes today for you. The second area that can absolutely impact your LH, and again, many of your other hormones, is your diet, is your nutrition. And this comes back again to the example I used previously with polycystic ovarian syndrome, is that your diet is essential for regulating your hormones. If you are not eating well, if you're not providing proper nutrition, your hormones are going to be impacted. If the quality of the food you're eating is full of pesticides and hormones, it's going to impact your hormones, and in this case, your LH. And so this is the second thing that I see that directly impacts LH levels in women with PCOS. And I'm just using that as an example because it's the most eye-opening example to see it. That just like I mentioned with the stress, if you are not eating a healthy diet with women with PCOS, it's going to impact your LH and cause your cycles to be irregular again. So if you've been having regular cycles and all of a sudden they become irregular, I want you to look at your diet. And it's not just about the quality of the food and what you're eating, it's also about getting enough nourishment. Are you getting enough calories in the day? Let's not deprive our hormones of the nutrition that they need. Let's give them what they need. Let's make sure that you're eating a good amount of protein and fat and good carbs and good healthy vegetables to provide the proper nourishment to our body, and then you're going to feed your hormones properly when you do that. So I've done a series of videos of other reasons that could be impacting your fertility and reasons why you might not be getting pregnant. A lot of them have to do with hormones, just like this one, LH. I've done one on FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. I've done one on other hormones and stress, just like we talked about in this video, and diet. So I'm going to put those links here down below for you to make it easier for you to find so that you can reference those videos as well to learn more about what could be impacting your fertility so you can start to make changes now. If you want to go deep into your fertility, find the root cause that's not allowing you to get pregnant, then be sure to fill out the application using the link in the description below to speak to a real person on my team to see if we can identify if you are the right fit for our program and if we can support you on your fertility journey to help you conceive by joining the Hope Fertility program. Now, I want to remind you, make sure to check out that series of videos to keep learning and learn more about your fertility. Again, you can use that link in the description below. And until the next video, stay fertile.